Let's talk about tinted glass permit. The police has been enforcing that now, but some legal practitioners went to court on this, and the court gave a ruling saying, wait a minute, hold up, the police. The police has also spoken saying, we've not gotten the court order. So it's a lot of back and forth. But we'll dig deeper into this issue so everybody knows what is expected, particularly the policemen on the road and the vehicle owners themselves, because when there are gray areas, we tend to see people exploiting and taking things overboard. And we have joining us on the program today a legal practitioner, Mr. Malaki Ugumadu. Good morning and welcome to the program. I'm
delighted to be with you again. Good morning, viewers.
Just before we get into the tinted glass permit, you finished from UNN.
Correct.
And I know you've been following this case in some sense. Being a graduate of UNN, hearing all of the back and forth about certificate, well, affidavit is something you hear a lot as a lawyer, but the whole transcript, certificates scandal involving the minister, what do you make of it?
It blows no one any good win. It diminishes the motto of that great institution, which is to restore the dignity of man. Dignity also consists in integrity. And to say the least, it is scandalizing. I would have thought that the earlier in time that this is put behind us in terms of coming out clean with all that needs to be known, the better for us. The University of Nigeria is a great institution. In fact, despite the fact that I had cause to take that university to court twice before I graduated, a degree withheld, but I'm the legal advisor. I've been of the Lagos State branch of the alumni, and I'm actively involved. In fact, it was part of the reason why I went for the MBA conference this year, because I had in Enugu, and we had a proper reunion of my own class with the dean, the faculty of law, visited and took on projects and made commitments to continue to foster the ideals of that great institution. So when you juxtapose that with stories about fake results, inadequate, it's scandalizing to say the least.
But you have your certificate.
Sorry?
Do you have your own certificate?
What? There's no scandal around that.
Just to be clear, because I know that this is actually some issue that we also need to clear about certificates in tertiary institutions, yes. How tough it is sometimes. You almost wonder, this is something you're meant to get, but some people, even years after they've graduated, they've not gotten their certificate. And that's not even speaking to the minister's case. Yes. But this is something we need to deal with. Or you want to get some sort of information and it's taken a long time.
In my own case, I had to even go to court for mine to be released. And that took approximately 2 years, and I got it. So in all, you could say that I had the privilege or misfortune of dragging that same institution to court 3 times before I eventually left.
Oh dear.
But that matter is settled. It's not in dispute where I stand.
Fantastic. But that is not the bone of contention, at least for us. I just wanted to get a sense of your own experience. And you finished much later?
Yes, I didn't have the privilege of listening to them this morning because I was on my way to this place, but I finished much earlier from what I have read.
Oh, no, I mean you graduated from UNN...
Much later.
Much later, yes. Than 1985.
No. I was 99 and then called eventually in 2002.
The Fourth Republic set.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about tinted glass permit. It's an issue that has been on for quite some time. The police finally said, well, let's regularize this. Nigerians, apply. Okay, give you a certificate. But if you don't have that certificate, we're going to clamp down on you. And they started implementing across states. But lawyers went to court and they got a stay. But the police said, we've not even gotten any, court processes or any result of that just yet. So as at today, right now, Mr. Malaki Ugumadu, for vehicle owners who are plying the roads and they get stopped by policemen about tinted permit, what is the position of the law, or at least from the court's perspective?
The social media has made this a lot easier. because there's a sense in which we must also demonstrate that we are not from Ghana. We are citizens of Nigeria. And when I use such expressions, I may be smiling, but I'm dead serious. And you know, this has been reoccurring. Your station gave me enough platform in 2011. They ran amok with this same idea. Then I didn't quite understand why the idea was muted. Because when the heat of crisis, you can't completely question the, if you like, the parameters of the police in securing Nigeria. It is their prerogative, and they understand it better. But when they do that in total disregard of the rights of Nigerians, we will ask questions. Because again, we have to also show that we are Nigerians. Now, in 2011, precisely on the 4th of March, 2011, there was once a Minister of Police Affairs by name Humphrey Abba. He had come out with a wide publication declaring that the use of tinted glass has been banned. On the basis of that, the Inspector General of Police gave a deadline for the total ban of the use of tinted glasses by Nigerians. But in that publication, they made an exemption and said only the president, the vice president, governors and their deputies, speaker, and Senate president shall be exempted from that ban. My problem was, why was Malaki not included? Have I suddenly, even why was Kayode not included? Have we suddenly become lesser citizens of this country on account of the fact that we don't occupy those public offices? By the way, the vehicles we are talking about, most of which are factory-fitted tinted glasses. Mark you, I'm discussing my case that in 2011. In 2011. These matters are sub judice now. I'm not talking about those cases. The two reasons for which you could have the tinted gas are security and health.
Yeah.
Now, by the time we were discussing this matter, those who were exempted are people with enough security. I'm talking of physical security personnel. There is no way the president, in short, if it is the speaker or deputy speaker that comes to your studio, the whole of your street will be cordoned off. They have security drawn from all the security apparatus of this country. They are guarded, they are protected. Those of us who also need this security too, on account of the failure of the state, and in particular the police, are told, no, your life is not as important as these ones we have exempted. You cannot have it. There is no better understanding that I have of the law, specifically Section 42 of the Constitution that prohibits discrimination, other than what happened then. So we wrote.
Right.
When they did not answer, we went to the I went to the Federal High Court before Justice Okechukwu Okeke, who was then retiring. And at least we got the leave to, and we made it a focal issue until they abandoned it. So 14 years after,
we're back.
We're back to the same thing.
But Mr. Ogumadu, the courts, that's a federal high court in Warri Delta State, yes, ordered the police to maintain the status quo on the enforcement of the tinted glass permit. That is precisely the sixth order. So, as at this moment, and that's why I asked you earlier, as yes, at this moment, yes, what should the police be doing regarding that enforcement? Thank you. Status quo, as a legal principle of law, is
the situation that existed before the controversy ensued, leading to litigation. That is the status quo. So the status quo was that there is no enforcement of tinted glass ban. That is the status quo. When you say status quo, and these are decisions already settled by the Supreme Court, I reference GTB and GABA. These are Supreme Court judgments. It says it is the situation that exists before any controversy ensued, leading to contestation, disputation, litigation. So that is it. And the court says, let the status quo be maintained. The police, which is the primus law enforcement agency in the country, is bound to obey that. In fact, Section 287 of the Constitution imposes a duty on every Nigerian, even much more on institutions of government and agencies of government, including the Nigerian police, which is the first law enforcement agency, to obey that.
So nobody should be enforcing
this is a federal high court order.
So there's jurisdiction and no police should be enforcing right now.
I mean, that should lead to another litigation.
All right, Bukola.
Contempt.
Bukola, over to you now. I don't know if you've had any experience in Abuja, but it's all yours.
Well, I haven't had to drive in Abuja, Kayode, so I haven't had any experience so far. But, Mr. Gumadu, the police is quoting Section 2, subsection 3A of the Motor Vehicles Prohibition of Tinted Glass Act 2004. I know that the court, the litigation processes you're citing is from 14 years ago as well. I'm not quite sure about the timing. But when you say that status quo is the timing before litigation ensued, does this have any bearing on this law that the police is quoting? And does the court principle nullify the existing law?
I couldn't hear you completely, but let me be clear on this. The Motor Vehicle Prohibition, the Motor Vehicle Tinted Glass Prohibition Act is an act of the National Assembly now. It has always been a law since 1991. It was a decree that became an act subsequently. So whether in 2011 or now, that is the law under use. That is the law, that is the extant law. So there's no prevarication, no disputes as regards that. Now, if they quoted Section 2 of that act, they will also be fair to Nigerians to quote the section of the law that insists that what they can only do in the event of any violation is to charge such people to the Federal High Court and upon conviction to be fined. And the amount, 2,000 naira, is stated there in the law. So where is this idea of paying into a private account? I think they call it Parkway Project account. Where is that coming from? Secondly, to what extent would you be the one to issue the order, do the arrest, impound vehicles, get payment from in other words, passing judgment on the people who are in use of this vehicle? Look, the point I make, and I commend the NBA, because at the moment there are two cases already. There is one by Mr. Martins in Delta State, yes, the former first vice president of NBA, ably presented to court by the learned Sikh Kunle Edu, SAN. Before that, there was one instituted by the Incorporated Trustee, Nigerian Bar Association, on behalf of itself and all the lawyers, practicing under them. Now, that one has not been, heard, at least as much as the one in respect of which another has been obtained. So, the issues are not very complicated as it's been made to look. The issue is that Nigerians are already witnessing what looks like intimidation. In short, there are already stories of extortion that we have. Mark you, I have monitored, and there are no less than at least 4 different commissioners of police, including that of Lagos State, Plateau States, and other states, that have gone onto the streets to enforce this law. When you have this restraining order, what is the purpose of a restraining order? It is to preserve the rest. If we are already implementing and enforcing this ban before the determination of the life issues that are already submitted to court, and the police should be the last to be seen in this kind of situation. I say this with all due respect.
Well, we're seeing, as you said, the commissioners enforcing this across the state, yes, in spite of the court case. So if we see law enforcement not enforcing the law, at least not obeying the law, you wonder what law are they then enforcing? But interesting days ahead. We're going to also be monitoring to see, because if the police keeps claiming that they've not gotten the court order, then you wonder, weren't they represented in court?
No. It hasn't got. The order gotten was an ex parte order, yeah, but it has been served. In short, statements have been made by the force public relation officer, yeah, suggesting what the fact that they already seized with the orders, as it were.
They already seized with it?
Yes.
I hope the ones on our roads, the policemen on our roads also got the order.
Nigerians are encouraged to, the thing is on the social media.
Okay.
Have a copy of it and at least politely show them.
All right. Mr. Ogumadu, well, let's hope that works out, because we've seen things like that. You hear people, Nigerians telling police officers that, but your IG said this, they say IGs
we have better security issues to deal with.
And that's right. The policemen will tell you, IGs in Abuja, we are here
They
on
want
the
chance people, they don't use tinted glass.
Well, Mr. Malaki Ogumadu, we have to thank you for your time. It's funny how we keep coming full circle time and again. Is a legal practitioner. Thank you for this.
Thank you for the opportunity again. Thank you.
Well, that's where we anchor on the show for this morning. Major issues have been thrashed, but the conversation continues, and we're back tomorrow with a bumper package. As Bukola would say, I'm Coyote Okikiolu.
And of course, Sunrise Daily is up next. Stay with Channels Television. Thank you for watching. I am Bukola Koka.